Hi, and welcome to Laura Portka. I'm so happy that you're with us here today because I'm a huge fan of your art and all the beautiful work that you do in this world. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh. So for those of you who don't know Lori, I'm sure a lot of you already do. She's an artist and she creates lots of prints and posters and beautiful prayer flags and she's lots of really, really beautiful, luminous, inspired art. Um, so I would love to know how um, know a little bit more about your journey, who you are, and the work that you do.
Well, I didn't, I guess when I think about myself as an artist, when I was little, I loved art.
Hmm.
And I always did art when I was little. It was my favorite thing. Doing art and hiking in the woods were my my two favorite things.
Great.
Then I got completely away from it. And I went to school to be a teacher, and I taught for a long time, and I was a counselor. I worked as a mental health counselor.
Right.
And but slowly, like that worked for me for a while, and then slowly that didn't feel like that was connecting for me anymore.
Hmm.
And I read the book The Artist's Way, which was the first little window into art for me, which I forget how many years ago that was now, probably about, I don't know if it was 10 or maybe even 15 years ago. Probably about 15 years ago. And it still took me kind of years after that to get going. But when I did start to do art for the first time, it was like, oh, this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like, oh, why did I let so many years go by in between?
Hmm.
You know, so yeah, art really feels like home to me. But you know, even then, as part of my journey, I worked part-time. I mean, I worked full-time and did art at night and tried to build my business that way. And then for many years, I worked part-time as a teacher, and I did art part-time as well. So it took me a lot of years really to get to really like ground my feet in the work that I'm doing.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting how we need time to do sometimes other things before we can fully embrace what we feel is really right in that moment, as if we're growing different parts of ourselves, and then we can step into what we feel like we're here to do. But yeah, we probably need those pieces before it, maybe. For some people, it takes more time than others, I think.
Right. I think so too. And I know that I got my degree in counseling really, I think just because I needed, I really needed to do, a lot of work. That was definitely my work, you know?
Yeah.
And I can see how having that counseling degree has helped me in the work that I'm doing now.
Mm.
So, but I know that that's why I went.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great though, isn't it? It's like we're learning different things so that we can get to where we want to go afterwards. But it all makes sense and nothing is a waste of time, is it?
No, no, definitely not.
And so I'm really curious to know about the 100 Thank Yous project that you worked on for a long time because I was following that on the internet. I was just like so impressed because that's a lot of work to do and at the same time it felt like you were really a part of like a bigger picture that this whole project, and it was so beautiful to see that. So, how would you like to share a bit about what it was like and yeah, your experience of it?
Sure, it was really, really amazing. I am so, so glad I did it. And I had many moments when I was in the throes of it where I thought, I can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
Where I was sort of horrified with myself. But yeah, I got really inspired when I saw a project that Haley Bartholomew did. She's a photographer and filmmaker. And she did a project where she took a photo of something she was grateful for every day, and she talked about how her life changed from that. And I have this really deep knowing that when I consciously focus on gratitude more, my life flows better. I feel happier. But it's not necessarily my natural place to go. I don't wake up every day, oh, I'm so grateful for this day.
Yeah.
At all. So it's a practice for me.
Hmm.
So when I read about her, I thought, oh, I want to do that. And then that night, I got the idea for 100 thank yous. And it was like it came from the sky and flew into my brain, and it was there, and then I felt like I had to do it.
Wow.
I felt like it was sort of a calling for me. You know, I was called to do that. And um, and it felt really crazy, really insane, and also really, really right.
Mm.
So I went to my local art supply store and I said, I need to buy 100 canvases. Can you give me a deal? Because this costs a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
But so that's where I started. And now when I look back on it, since I'm finished with all 100 paintings, when I look back on it, I realize that I learned so much from it. I really learned about the connection that I have with other people, that I can see it. You know how we talk about how we're all one, we're all connected?
Yeah.
I experienced that through those paintings. Like I get it now. I can feel that connection in a way that I couldn't before I did all the paintings. There were so many other things. I'm much more confident now as an artist. And I feel like I'm definitely, when I do my artwork, I'm connecting to something bigger than myself. I really know that now. It happened when I got to about 75 paintings. I'd finished 75. I had a kind of a breakdown because I couldn't believe I still had 25 more to go. And I started to cry, and I felt like I just overwhelmed myself, and I was wondering why I did this. And then I read a quote by Ira Glass, who's an American public radio guy, and he said something about how when you're really trying to develop your work as an artist, it's important to do a massive body of work. Paraphrasing him, but it's important to do a massive body of work. Your gifts, like for the world, and you will really connect that way. And I thought, that's it. It was in that moment when I was having a breakdown that I saw that quote. It was perfectly timed. It was fabulous, and I started to work on this 76 painting. You know, it was great, and I do feel that way. I feel like I did such a massive body of work that now I feel really rooted in the work that I'm doing.
Ah, beautiful.
It was good for me on a spiritual level, and also in developing my craft as an artist.
Because that's a lot of painting. So just going through all of those, and even when you feel like you want to give up and you don't want to do it anymore, you still have to go, right? And I think it's something about being really consistent and keeping that vision and that goal kind of in mind, even when you otherwise maybe you'd have given up, but you can't. So you kind of have to keep going, and then you get into that flow again. And I guess that's what it's like with work, right? We're in the flow, and then we're out of it, and then we're in it, and and that's just how we grow, and it's part of the process. So just knowing that now, you can do other things because you could do that, and it kind of helps us grow, doesn't it?
It does. That's exactly true. Yes.
Wow. And then all the things that have come from that as well, because now you have the prints do you have prints for all the paintings you did?
Yeah, that was kind of, I mean, I had thought about that, but I didn't realize how good that would be also. I hadn't really thought about that too much because I gave away all the original paintings. So well, I still have a few I still have to send. There's some famous people, I don't know where they go, but I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying about what did you ask?
The prints, about the prints from the paintings.
So, so part of my business is that I wholesale greeting cards to, boutiques around the country, and that you're supposed to have a lot. You should have a lot to choose from, like more than 100 greeting cards to choose from, and now I do.
Yay!
It would have taken me so long, but then I have a whole catalog now of images. So that was a little bonus, which was nice.
Yeah, and it's great when you start out with something that just feels right, and you don't really know where it's going to take you. And then when you look back, it looks like these really obvious steps that could have been thought out, but you didn't. You're just kind of going with this like generous sort of, I want to share this because I feel inspired by something. And it's really nice to be kind of taken into this energy and to like use it and to embody it in your life when you work, isn't it? Because you're just kind of feels a joy and a sense of purpose somehow. And then it ends up being work and business and your business evolving as well. But you don't have
Right.
to think about it in a strategic way necessarily all the time. It can be just like going wherever, like whatever feels joyful or right or beautiful or loving. Like you can go in that direction and that can be your business, which is
Right. That's so true. That's so true. You know what happens to me all the time now? I'll meet someone and I'll think, oh, and I'll get an idea for a painting for them.
oh really?
Yeah, I'll think, oh, if I were making them a painting, I would make this. Or if I were doing the project now, I would make that person a painting, you know? And I have this whole idea, and often that does turn into a painting that I end up doing. Or it's weird. It's like I'm sort of, I think of people in that way now, in a sort of a, I mean, not all the time. I'm not like, but since the project, I definitely see people differently. I see people with a lot more gratitude, I think, than I used to, and I kind of notice what I love about them more.
Mm.
It's sweet.
Wow, that's pretty huge in your life, isn't it? And also for your work, you must feel. Does that mean you feel more inspired now, or just in a different way?
No, I definitely think I feel more inspired because my artwork comes from real life, like what's real and like what's loving and good and sweet and real in our connections with each other.
Yeah.
So so definitely I'm more inspired by that. I mean, it was huge. It was really overwhelming when I did the show of 100 paintings. I had when I had the gallery show of all of it. And it just I mean, it was really, really overwhelming and such a like the love was almost too much. I could almost not even take it. There was so much crying. I mean, it was crazy.
Wow. And all
Right.
those people coming as well, because it's like, yeah, maybe we have limits to how much love we can take in one day, because everyone being there and the whole. Wow, that must have been huge.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, I'm rather introverted, so I was slightly overwhelmed with it anyway, but the outpouring of love was just amazing. It was great. It's very sweet. I'll never forget it, really.
Wow, beautiful. And so, how do you feel that your relationships with the people that you made the paintings for have changed?
Some have, I mean, maybe some have, yeah. Like, there's really big sweetness, I think, with my husband's family because I made them all a painting, and they hung them all right in their, like, in a really prominent place in their house.
Mm,
And I see it all the time, I think there was just this sort of connection that I had with them after that that was really sweet. And I think they maybe didn't even really know about my work that much.
mm.
And now they do. And it's just, I don't know, I definitely feel like there's a warmer feeling and a more closeness with them and with other people too.
Mm.
Sure.
Yeah, like deepening that connection. Because people, if you tell them that you really love them, that's one thing. But then creating a
Mhm.
painting and really focusing on them, it's like you're kind of deepening that connection. At least to some people that you really care for.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful. And so, as you probably know, this video series is also about how we connect with spirit. So
Mhm.
since I find your artwork really, really inspiring, and there's something really, I don't, it's like they have this light around them that just goes, kind of draws us in. And they're very loving. There's something really loving and sunny about them. I don't know how to describe that. It's just more of a feeling, I guess. And I wanted to know, so how would you say that you connect with spirit or with the energy form that you connect with when you paint and when you create your art?
Oh, that's such a good question. I mean, I definitely feel like I'm not alone when I'm doing my artwork. This was something else that I got from the 100 Thank Yous.
Mm,
When I first started, I was nervous because I thought I would probably run out of creative ideas. So how can I have enough creative ideas to do 100 paintings? You know, I thought there would be someone that I wanted to make a painting for, and I'd have nothing. Nothing
mm,
would be there, you know? So it started for me with me sitting there just to like sort of calm myself down. So I would have the canvas in front of me, and I would sit on my meditation cushion, and I would just sit in meditation for a minute, just to sort of calm myself down. But what ended up happening was that as I calmed down, I would just be grateful. You know, I would think, oh, I'm grateful that I have this moment here to think about this person, you know, to think about people that I love and to have time to paint, you know, and just feel grateful. And what would happen is that almost every time I would feel like tearing up.
Mm.
So I would sort of feel this wave of love really strong, and then I would feel like I was connecting to spirit, to something bigger than me. I could feel it.
Mm.
And I would just ask for help in that space. I would ask for help, that this is what I want to do. This is part of my work for the world, help me to create the most loving paintings that I can. It's basically some version of that.
Yeah.
What happened? So I had a paper that had a list of all the names of people I wanted to make paintings for. And so I would sit in meditation until I feel like I really kind of connected. And then I would end and look at my list of people. And every single time, someone's name would jump out and the idea for the painting would kind of fly into my head. And I would get started right away.
Wow.
And I definitely feel like it. I think Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this in that really famous TED Talk she did about there's this like, I forget how she talks about it, but a space of creativity. It's like ideas for my paintings would come flying through and into my brain.
Yeah.
and then there they were. And they came from the outside into me. Is what I felt like really every single time. It's not like I sat there and went, oh, what can I do? Okay, let me, It wasn't like that. It was more like me opening and waiting and then receiving. And so basically that's how I do all of my artwork now. I trust that that each piece is for someone, that someone will see it and it will mean something to them. And that's kind of how it works. And it was funny because with every one of the paintings, I still had a feeling, well, maybe this time will be the time that I don't have an idea.
Yeah.
Like a second. But I'm pretty rooted in like that I'm safe and I'm taken care of, and I know that every time I sit down in front of a canvas, ideas will come.
Yeah, it's just the mind going, wait a minute. This can't work. I can't figure this out. So maybe it's not going to work. It's so funny. I still get that with my readings going, maybe I'll just won't receive any messages for this person. It can happen, right? It never has so far, but you never know.
Right. It is definitely our minds because it's the little fear piece that's there.
Yeah. And I guess as long as we don't fight that, we just go, okay, I hear you. And then you still do what you have to do, and then it starts flowing again, and the ideas come, and then we're in the flow again. It's just like, I guess it's just like a part of us. Like, I try to see my fears and any things like that pop into. It's just like my friends who they just want to make sure I'm safe.
Yeah.
But I can hear them and accept that they're there, but I don't have to hang out with them for a long time. I don't have to take over my life. But it's
That's
just
right.
like,
That's so true.
yeah.
And now I love the time that I know that I'm going to connect with spirit right before I do a painting. I kind of call them in now. Now it's like a whole thing for me. Now I close my eyes and I call them in, my angels and spirit guides. I don't really have a clear vision of who's over there, except for my dad, because I know I always talk to him, and my dog, my sweet dog Claudia, who died. I always call them in, all the angels and spirit guides that are around me.
Yeah,
And I sort of feel like sometimes I feel like I can feel them swirling around me. It's so funny.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, and it's not like you have to see every face clearly. It's like this body of energy, isn't it? That you feel really held and loved by.
Yeah, it just feels like that to me. So I go with it.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful, though. It sounds really beautiful. Well, thank you so much, and it was really great to hear about your process and all the beautiful work you're doing. And I just wanted to tell everyone that Lori has a brand new website that is beautiful. It feels really like you, and at the same time really professional and like polished, but still has your personality coming through, and that's really beautiful. So if you haven't checked it out, I'm gonna put a link underneath this video so you can go and check her out and be inspired by your beautiful art. Yeah, I have some of Lori's prints on my altar, and I love the energy of them because it feels like really it really resonates with the work I do as well, because it's lots of light and love and spirits and all that, and it just feels really, really beautiful. So go check her out. And thank you so much, Lori, for taking the time out to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Aw, thank
This was
you.
fun.